What's up guys, Meredith with ExtremeTerrain.com, and today we're checking out the Red Rock single side exit exhaust system with the black tip, fitting all 2020 and newer 3.6 liter JT Gladiators. Now switching up your exhaust can offer a lot of good for your JT when it comes to the presence of your truck, both in appearance and sound, and this system will do just that while also being one of your most affordable options. Now when it comes to the sound of this system, I am going to give it a 3 out of 5 on the loudness meter, with 1 being completely stock and 5 being wake the neighbors loud, making it a great choice for the JT owner who is in search of a system that's going to offer a lower and more aggressive tone while also keeping it very comfortable inside the cab area. Compared to the factory exhaust, this will significantly improve the flow of the system here, especially with the straight through style muffler, which will be responsible for that sound increase and improvement. Now you'll also get some deeper tones out of the system while not being over the top with too much volume if you don't necessarily need it. Now with being a less restrictive system and having a higher flow design, you can also expect a little bit of interior noise, but again, with the volume level, it's not going to be super loud or overbearing, maintaining a comfortable cab environment. Now this will also just have some very sleek styling compared to the factory system with a large black coated tip on the back to match with any other dark accessories that you may already have on your JT. This will be made of a mandrel bend 3-inch 409 stainless steel. Now the material here will be good quality as far as resisting rust is concerned, much better than the factory system and other non-stainless materials, while also saving you a little compared to other super high-grade stainless options, making it a great compromise. Now the tip on the back will be powder coated black. That is going to be stainless steel as well, resisting rusting very well and protecting it from the elements that much more, in addition to the overall just finished appearance. Now this will also come with all of the clamps and hardware and have true factory style hangers for a relatively straightforward install. This system will be about $325, which is again super affordable for a full catback system. This is going to be pretty simple though when it comes to the design, which I think works very well in this system's favor, and will use a good quality stainless steel for solid durability. Now the system will also be mid-range in sound, which will offer that aggressiveness without being over the top, making this all around a great option, especially if you want to save when it comes to your wallet. Install will be a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter and should only take you about 2 hours to get the job done. Now this way we can head over to our shop and check out a detailed breakdown on our JT, so that's going to wrap it up for me. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
Tools required for this install include an impact gun, a ratchet, a swivel adapter, an extension, 10, 13, 15, and 18 millimeter sockets. What's up guys? Today we're installing an exhaust on our Gladiator. First we're going to watch a quick uninstall video showing you how to remove the factory exhaust, and I'll meet you right back here for the install.
Okay guys, first step obviously is we're going to have to remove our factory exhaust. Now we have our Gladiator up on a lift to give you guys some better angles to show you exactly what we're doing underneath the Jeep. And the way we're going to do this is going to preserve our factory exhaust. If you don't care about your factory exhaust, it might be easier just to cut it off, but we're going to show you how to get this off while preserving the piping. So let's go ahead and get started. All right guys, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the skid plate here, and that's so we can drop the front end of the exhaust down. It'll make it a little bit easier to kind of work its way out. The factory exhaust is basically one piece from the Y pipe all the way back to the tailpipe. So what we're first going to do is we have a 13 mil bolt or a nut right here we're going to remove, and then we have 4 18 millimeter bolts here and then 2 up front here that we're going to remove, and that'll let us get the skid plate down. All right, like I said guys, that one we just did was a 13 millimeter, and the next 4 are all going to be 18 millimeter sockets you're going to need. All right guys, now before I do the front 2, make sure you're supporting it with your hand, because once you loosen these, the skid plate's going to want to drop on you. All right guys, now this point back is what we're going to be removing. So this clamp here we're going to loosen. You're going to need a 13 mil socket for this ball clamp. Now, unlike a regular flat clamp, these ball clamps have a kind of a curved edge that kind of cup around the end of the flange here, so you have to loosen it quite a bit in order to slide this out eventually. So we have that pretty good and loose, so we're going to move to the next step. All right, guys, now we're going to pull back on this lock tab. This is just kind of to prevent the clamp from sliding at all. So just get a screwdriver in there, pull that back. All right, guys, now we're right near the tailpipe, and this is the rearmost hanger. We're going to remove this bracket because it is the one bracket that is pointing in an opposite direction from the other hangers further forward on the exhaust. I'm going to use a 13 mil socket on these two bolts as well. All right, guys, now just to get it out of our way, we're gonna pull this hanger off. You're gonna have to pull it out a little bit and rotate it down. There's this little tab right here that hooks into the frame rail, so you need to get it away from there. You should be able to just pull this out. All right, guys, now go ahead and assemble a tool that comes with your Jeep. We're going to lower our spare tire, get that out of the way, and then also remove the spare tire guard to finish getting out our exhaust pipe. Now this tool basically goes into a plastic sleeve that's behind the bumper here. Once you get that in, you can't twist it by hand, then you know you're on the, it's kind of like a bolt back in there that the end of this tool goes on, and we're gonna use this just like a socket wrench. And then the lug wrench here has a square opening in it, put that in the end here. All right, with a bunch of slack let out, guys, you don't want to drop it all the way to the ground. You want to be able to get a hand underneath your tire. Lift your tire up. And there's a black bracket the tire rests on. Slide it up the cable and get it through the lug hole. All right, guys, now to remove the heat shield that protects our spare tire, you're gonna have 5 bolts. They're all 10 millimeter. There's 3 up here that are gonna be very hard, if not impossible for you guys to see on camera here, but we're gonna take those 3 out first. All right, and then we have the last 2 right here, again, 10 millimeter. All right, guys, now at this step, we only have 2 hangers that are holding our exhaust pipe up, and they are both pointing towards the front, which means with the help of my friend back here, we're gonna slide the entire pipe backwards out of these 2 hangers and then drop it down and actually pull it forward to clear the rear axle.
So now we're ready to start installing our new exhaust. We're gonna start with our front pipe here, raise our flange up to our stock pipe, slide our band clamp into place, and tighten it down with a 13 millimeter socket. Now with our front pipe reinstalled, we can slide our support bracket back into place, and thread in our bolts. And then we can also reinstall our nut. And now we can take an 18mm socket to tighten down our 4 bolts. And then we'll switch to a 13mm socket to tighten down our nut. Next we can install our muffler. So we're going to take one of our clamps and slide that over our muffler inlet, and then we can raise that up into place. Now once we have that slid on, I'm just going to throw our next clamp on for now, and then we can grab our 15mm socket, slide our clamp into place, and tighten that down. Next we can install our mid pipe. So we're going to slide our 2 hangers onto the rods. And the same thing with the other one. And then we can slide this into our muffler. And then we can take the 2 bolts for our front hanger and thread those in. And now we can thread in the 2 bolts on our back hanger. And then we'll grab our 13mm socket to tighten these down. Next we can come back to our first hanger, take our 13mm socket, tighten down the 2 bolts. And now we can switch to our 15mm socket to tighten down our clamp. Next we'll get our heat shield lined up and get our 2 bolts reinstalled into the driver's side frame rail. As well as these 2 nuts on the back side here. And then we'll grab a 10mm socket to tighten these down. Next we can reinstall our spare tire. So we're going to drop this spring through the center cap hole first, and then we're going to angle this black piece through there as well. And now we can go back to our rear bumper and start to raise this up. So now I've got our tool going through the rear here, and we can start twisting to raise up our spare tire. So now we're ready to install our S-pipe. So I'm going to take one of our clamps and slide it over the edge, and then we can raise it up into place. And now we can go back with a 15mm socket to tighten down our clamp. Next we can install our tailpipe. So I'm going to take a 3-inch clamp, slide that over the edge, and then we can slide our hanger onto our rod. And then we'll raise this up into place. And then we can thread in our 2 bolts. And then we can come back with our 13mm socket to tighten down our 2 bolts. And then we can grab a 15mm socket to tighten down our clamp. And now lastly, we can install our tip. I've already got our clamp slid over the edge here. So we'll slide that on. You can adjust this to have as much or as little poke as you'd like. I'm going to throw it right around here. And then we'll grab our 15mm socket and tighten down this clamp. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the Red Rock single exhaust system with black tip, side exit for your 2020 and newer 3.6 liter Gladiator JT. Thanks for watching, and for all things Gladiator, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.